Hi, so what is your name?
My name is John Bush.
What branch are you in?
I was served in the Army.
And then what is your rank in the Army?
I was a major.
And what is one conflict you faced?
So I served in Afghanistan for a year in 2013, and I served in Korea for 3 years from 2007 to 2010.
My name is Gerald Turner. I was a sergeant in the United States Army. I was there in 68 and 69. I was drafted.
Mrs. Winky, you are not in the military, but can you tell us how your family is connected to the military?
Sure. My husband has been in the military for close to 20 years now. He is a chief warrant officer in the Army currently.
We've been through one deployment to Afghanistan.
What's your name?
Charles Cagle,
What was your branch and rank?
United States Army.
When and where did you serve?
I was a specialist 4th class.
And when?
1966-67. And I was stationed in Vietnam.
Okay.
You forgot that.
My name is Wesley Pete. I branch is the United States Marine Corps, the Illinois Army National Guard, and currently the Army Reserve. I am the rank of Major in the Officer Corps. And some of the conflicts I've been involved in is the Persian Gulf War and operating Enduring Freedom and support operations. I've been in for 23 years officially, but my time spans over 30 years.
Well, my name is Bruce Rodwald. I was in the United States Army. I was a chief warrant officer. I was a helicopter pilot. I served in Vietnam for 2 tours, and I served from 1965 to 1970.
My name is John Weirs. I served in the United States Army Special Forces. I was a staff sergeant, but my highest rank achieved was E5 sergeant. And the conflict, I was a Cold Warrior, the Persian Gulf Warrior that I served in the United States, CONUS. And my years of service were 1986 to 1992.
What did your service experience teach you about respect?
The first type of respect is respect for a position. And that's simply respecting somebody because they're a teacher or a police officer, or in the military, somebody who's higher ranking than you.
Well, it taught me that when you're in the service, you are asked to do a lot of things, some of which you don't want to do or don't feel you can do, but because you're in the service, you have to do, regardless. So you learn to respect the people that are giving these orders to you, because that's their job and it's also your job to do what they say.
The second type of respect, in my opinion, is much more important and much harder to really get from individuals, and that is respect for individual people. How do you get that type of respect? It takes time and it takes trust, but it is really understanding that you want to lead people fairly, treat them the way that you want to be treated. Check your ego at the door, right? When I make decisions for my team in the military, I'm not making the decisions for me. I'm making those decisions for my soldiers.
Can you tell us about how your family's military experiences have taught you about respect?
I have a deep respect for those who have been part of the military tradition in generations past. Each year, I showed a clip in my history class in which a World War II widow explained, "When your husband becomes an officer, you're an officer's wife. You do not show any emotion when they go overseas. You hold it back no matter what. You just did that. We did that." It was hard to watch every time, but reflecting on my own experience, my 10-month-old son was able to babble to his dad through a screen, and his sisters were able to tell them about preschool and daily life. Military families that have paved the way for mine endured months of not knowing, forever fearing a knock at the door. As strong as we have to be now, I have nothing but respect for the strength it took living every day to be a solid foundation at home during conflicts that went on for many years.
What did your service teach you about respect?
I couldn't call them names or anything like that. I had to show them that this is the way it was, and everybody had to be treated equally. I don't know much more of what I can say about respect in the Army. I mean, I respected the United States because I got drafted and I went. I was just like everybody else, frightened, scared, and I wanted to, because I was put in charge, I wanted to show them that there was nothing to be afraid of.
My favorite historical figures and mentors is Abraham Lincoln, and he said America would never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we have destroyed ourselves. This quote to me is one of the most ultimate responsibility statements, because if we're not willing to die for our country, that is, to be responsible for it, we will not have a free country to live in. Who does that responsibility fall under? The less than 1% of our entire population that serves our country in the military, or the 2% if you put in the police and all of our first responders. That's not a lot of people, when you stop to think about it. Not everybody can be a soldier, though, or a Marine, or a police officer, or a firefighter, but we all have the responsibility and duty as citizens to love our country, what it represents, and provide service to our fellow citizens with the God-given talents we all have been given so we can do good things. We all have the responsibility to be the best of ourselves.
Service experience teach you about responsibility?
Well, that was really drummed into us from the day that we got off the bus at the induction center. It was responsibility it was your actions. You're responsible for whatever needs to be done. You can't hand it off onto anybody else. It's yours and you own it. And that means that whether it's responsibility for your equipment or your conduct or getting your job done, that was on you. And you were just one part of a vast machine to make everything work. And you relied on others, but it was your responsibility to do your job as best that you could.
What did the service teach you about responsibility?
They taught me that you had to get up in the morning and you had to be responsible for yourself, and in my case I had to be responsible for other people because I was a squad leader. I had to make sure that they were shaven, because if they weren't, we all got in trouble.
Tell us about your family's experiences in making connections as a military family.
Well, I think that making connections as a military family is really key to being able to survive during deployment. Being able to, call someone and say, I need help with something simple in your house is really important. I think that, being able to reach out to other people for assistance, but also knowing that those people are there for you is really important. The other thing that I think, our experience has taught us is that you don't necessarily know what people are going through. So being able to connect to other people and understand that they may have things going on is something that my experiences, my family's experiences has really helped us become better people because of it.
Thank you. What experience teach you about making connections?
Connections are building relationships with other people. For an example, with your superiors, that you would be able to discuss things, to understand what your mission was, etc. And also your equals, other pilots in my case, that we would talk and we would know what he was going to do if we're formation flying, or if we're going into a real tight area, or with our troops, etc. Or with our subordinates, which were, in our case, my crew chief and my gunner that flew in the back of the helicopter. And we had open dialogue because it took a team to do that. And with that, you had to have those connections and you had to have that reliability on those people to help you do your job. With that, it developed trust, and that trust came through a dialogue because you could put faces or you could take positions and you would understand how the whole thing went. And it was a big team, and that's how it worked. So, okay, got it? Okay.
That I was no better than the other people in the squad was. I was not above them. I didn't try to be above them. I did not try to show off or anything like that. When people had trouble making about face, I would take time to show them how to make it, but I didn't yell at them like the drill sergeants did.
What did your service experience teach you about making connections?
The very first thing about connection that I remember, right from the day, from the very first moments, there is no color. That's the very first thing he addressed. There is no white, blacks, this, that. There's only green. Marine Corps green. That's the only color you need to know. That's the only color you will know. That's the only color you will be.
It's when you serve with other people, other men, it is a bonding that is second to none, and you can pick up the phone and talk to them 30 years, 35 years later, and you know who they are, they know who you are, they know your faults, they know the good points about you, and it's just like timeless. That's the best way to say about that, if that's what I'm thinking.
What did your service experience teach you about making connections?
So, what I can tell you is one thing, in that life is so much better when you're connected with individuals, right? We should strive on a daily basis to make connections. And it's simple things like looking people in the eye, smiling at individuals when they walk by, right? When I say being connected, I don't mean on social media. Put the phone down and have a conversation with individuals. And you never know what that one act of kindness, that one smile, that one genuine concern for individuals can do for that person. The one thing that we tend to forget is that we don't understand what people are going through. And when you connect with individuals, you can really help people get through some hard times.